All right, let's dive right in. In this explainer, we're looking at something incredibly powerful, a formal declaration, a decree, designed to completely reclaim your personal sovereignty. Now, this isn't about just wishing for something to happen, it's about enacting a universal law. So let's explore how this thing is built. And here it is. This is the heart of the whole thing. The entire framework is built right on this single, powerful premise. It really sets the tone, doesn't it? It's ceremonial, it's authoritative, and it frames this whole process not as a hope, but as a spoken law that literally changes your reality. So let's break down this first section, the sovereign decree. The core idea here, and this is crucial, is that this is not some symbolic gesture. It's positioned as an official, binding act, a done deal. So what exactly is a sovereign decree? Well, think of it like a legal declaration. It's all about you asserting an authority you already have to officially and finally end any external negative claims on your energy, your path, or your destiny. And where does this authority even come from? According to the source, it stands on four huge pillars. First, your inherent right as a sovereign being. Second, your sacred role as a celestial steward, basically a guardian of cosmic balance. Third, your fundamental birthright to just exist without interference. And finally, this deep, pre-existing spiritual contract that's part of your very essence, written in your breath. Okay, so that's the what. But how does this decree actually work? This next section gets into the mechanics, and it's fascinating. This isn't framed as a battle or some big fight. It's much more like a legal repossession. The darkness simply loses its jurisdiction over you. The source uses this really powerful legal metaphor. Any claim a negative influence thought it had, well, it's treated like an expired contract. The ownership has just lapsed. The terms are void. And because that contract has totally lapsed, the deed is no longer valid. Simple as that. Which means any authority it claims to have is now rightfully and legally repossessed by you, taken back. So why is the contract void in the first place? The source is super specific about the breaches of contract. It says any claim was essentially mortgaged and lost the moment these actions took place. Deception, manipulation, distortion, any of these things automatically broke the terms of any spiritual agreement, making the contract totally worthless. And this right here illustrates such a key point. The fallout from this isn't punishment. It's not about revenge. It's a settlement. It's presented as the natural balancing of a cosmic ledger. The bill for the energy they borrowed against their own soul is simply finally coming due. And that leads us right into the consequences for those who are dealing in these negative energies. The source calls it the law of return, and it's framed less as a magical act and more like a law of cosmic physics. It just is. Here's how it works. Picture it. When a negative spell or manipulation is attempted, its power source, its anchor to the darkness, is now gone. And with that anchor, the energy has nowhere to go but right back to where it came from. It recoils, returns to the sender, and ultimately just cancels out their ability to do it again. And this quote just nails the fundamental principle behind that collapse. The source argues that magic is a birthright, sure, but it operates under a contract. And by choosing to serve darkness, practitioners broke their contract with the light, and in doing so, they forfeited the very gifts that powered their abilities in the first place. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, according to the text, the outcomes are tangible, and they are absolute. All the negative attempts aren't just stopped, they're inverted. An attempt to curse you actually becomes a blessing for you. An attempt to harm them becomes a self-inflicted wound. Their influence just dissolves. Now, this decree isn't just about saying the right words. It's also about timing. It's tied to this powerful celestial event called the Solar Return. And this isn't just another birthday, you guys. It's a moment of profound personal and cosmic realignment. The source draws a really sharp distinction here. A birthday? Yeah, it marks the passage of time. But a solar return, in this context, is when the entire universe literally recenters and realigns around your unique existence. It's presented as nothing less than a coronation of the self. And this is where it gets really fascinating. The source details these specific numerological codes, calling them activation windows. Each number combo corresponds to a different piece of this reclamation. At 733, your birthright as a creator reactivates. At 3:33, your words become binding. And at 4:44, your sovereignty finally stabilizes and becomes your physical reality. And it's not just about the numbers. There's some serious astrological firepower backing this whole thing up. The sun in Scorpio is there to power your rebirth. Mercury makes your words into binding law. Jupiter gives you the cosmic green light to expand. You see, every celestial body is shown to be aligned, supporting and enforcing this reclamation of your sovereignty. Okay, and this brings us to the final and honestly the most empowering section. The decree has been made, the cosmos are aligned, so what happens now? A new era begins. This is all about the lasting results and the new reality that comes next. So what do you get back? Well, it's a total reclamation. We're talking stolen energy, lost time, a distorted sense of self. All of it is said to be returned and repaired. The true timeline of your life comes back online, totally free from interference. The final statements are just so percussive and absolute. There's zero ambiguity. All those old contracts, they are now null and void, period. Which means any hold they may have had is completely and irrevocably broken. That connection is severed, for good. And the whole narrative concludes with this incredible triumphant declaration. It marks the beginning of a new reign, your rightful one, where your own inner light can no longer be diminished by any outside force. So we end on this question, which really shifts the focus entirely to the future. With your sovereignty reclaimed and your throne restored, the next step isn't about looking back at the past, it's about what you choose to create and build from this exact moment forward.